Well, hello there, friends. How are you today? I am here to share with you a completed sketchbook that probably goes back about 5 or 6 years, maybe a little further than that. It primarily shows kind of like the trajectory of me in my art story, if you will, and the different tools that I was using over that time span. And it really covers a lot of ground. But I would say that a lot of it had to do with my experimentation. And that is why I'm calling this video One Big Experiment. Because that's really what it was for me. And, you know, I think it's really important for us to have that kind of approach to any project that we do, because then it kind of opens us up to all kinds of possibilities, and you just never know what you're going to discover in the process. And a lot of times you might hit on something that just feels like gold to you that you weren't expecting, which makes experimentation so much fun and can be a really great way to tap into those spaces of discovery that can make all the difference in the way you create. So I just wanted to share with you some of the things that I have in this sketchbook. Now, normally when you do a sketchbook flip, they usually have the camera overhead, but I'm concerned that my hair is going to get in the way because the camera usually doesn't go quite where I want it to whenever I do an overhead video. So I thought I would just show it to you, you know, going this way with the camera. So I trust that that's fine with you. So I wanted to show that several of the projects that I worked on in this sketchbook, I was working primarily with the Winsor Newton watercolor markers that are dual tipped. Got the fine tip, and then you have the brush tip on the other end. And I used these primarily as the outlining tools. And then I would use these finer pens by Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen series, which has a very fine tip, and I would use that for detail. So several of the pages in the beginning of this journal have to do with me playing with marker and pen purposes. And I was doing a lot of hand lettering with a lot of detail inside the letters. That was something that I was having a lot of fun with. Here's another one that I did. Yeah, just having fun. And I also have, okay, this one here was one that I really liked because it had a lot of very fun color scheme with it. And then on the other side, I have a couple of ones that I did there. Yes, I was doing a lot of hand lettering for several years. And then we have this one. And then we have this side. Yep. And on the other page, I think on the other side of this page, I have, okay, we've got some, okay. Now the next pages that I'm about to show you have everything to do with some banners that I created and for my website. And during that time, probably 5 or 6 years ago, I was learning how to draw cartoons. That was something that I wanted to do for many, many years, really since I was in high school, back in the 80s. I always wanted to know how to draw cartoons. And it wasn't until 5 or 6 years ago that I actually got a couple of books that show you step-by-step, you know, instructions on how to do that. So that's what I did. And so because I was having so much fun with my cartooning, I decided to try drawing myself as a cartoon. And the banners that I was creating for a new blog, The Sweet Spot, that you can still actually access on my blog at Refresh with Dawn Herring at dawnherring.net. And I made banners that said essential, simple, and satisfying, because those were the 3 descriptive words that I was using to describe the sweet spots that I had in my life at the time. And so I created this banner. Now there's something behind it because I had cut something on the bottom off so that I could take a picture of this. So I did that, and there's like a little cartoon person like inside the letter, which is how I incorporated my cartooning. When I first started doing that, I was literally putting the cartoon inside one of the letters of the word that I would doodle in my journal in the evenings. I did that for a very long time. I'm going to skip over some of these pages that just have a lot of, okay, here's the suite. That was a banner that I created. And then, okay, so the next page after that is a practice drawing that I did. It's just a sketch, a pen sketch, that I did of my daughter Hannah. Yes. I will put a picture of the actual final drawing that I did of her right here. And, which is really, I gave her the original, so. And then I did the same thing with my daughter Sarah. I did the outline of a picture that I was working with. And then this was the final product with just pen and marker. Yep, I really enjoyed that, and I was really happy with the way that turned out. See, I was doing some experimentation during the time when I was, you know, doing the cartooning. I also decided that I wanted to try illustrating with pen and marker, and doing so with faces, because faces has always been a fascination for me as an artist. And so I wanted to apply my new skill that I had acquired and use it toward drawing faces with pen and marker, which is something I had never done before. And I really, really enjoyed that process. So that was the perfect example of what that was for me. Then I did some drawings of one of my nieces, and I'll show that to you in a moment. Her name is Rebecca, and I featured her in also the pen and marker, and she is really big on ballet and tap. She's a dancer, and this was, you know, 5 or 6 years ago that I did these, and so I just want to show you some of the drawings that I did of her. Now remember, this is pen and marker. There's this one here, and then, oh, there's nothing on that page at the moment. Okay, here's another one that I did of her. Yeah. And these are from images that my sister had sent me of her. And then here's one that I didn't quite finish, but it had the gist anyway. And then here's another one that I did of her. Now I did these in the back part of my journal, so it's not like linear as far as time goes. And that was her in her ballerina, as a ballerina in her tutu. Yep. So I did all of those. And then, oh, and here's another one that I did that's a little further back with a full body from head to toe. Yes, I had fun with that one too. So those were the pen and marker, you know, experimentations that I was doing at the time. And then I decided to try my hand at combining cartooning with fashion. Yes. And so I did that with this one. Yes, it's a combination of me drawing a cartoon with fashion. And I had so much fun with that I decided to do another one, which I have right here. Yes, that was a lot of work to do because it was a floral print coat that I was drawing. As you can see, there's a lot of color, and yeah, that was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun at the same time. So I did that. And then I did another one like this. Yes, another fashion illustration combined as a cartoon. And then I did a smaller version of that. Yeah, there we go. And then, let me see if I have any more in here. I thought I had another one. Oh yeah, I have this one here. I did a pair of shoes Now that's not cartoon. No, that's just illustration of a pair of very colorful floral print shoes that I really, really liked. I had so much fun with that one. Oh, and here, okay, I don't know if I want to switch. Okay, I did a couple of cartoon-based, let me go back through here. I just want to, because it's not linear, so I'm having to turn some pages here to get where I want to go to show you what I did back here. I created, for my daughter, Sarah, when she turned 30, I created this little, I wouldn't call it a banner. It was really more just an image to post. And I put that up on Facebook to celebrate her birthday. Yes. And I also did one, here's one. I also did this one for my mother's 80th birthday. Yes. Now these are final art clips that I created there so that I could post that. And then I also have several examples of just plain pen sketching, but I'll get to that in a minute. Here is a banner that I created for my blog, The Way I See It, which is still available on my website. If you go to donnaherring.net and go to Blog Hub, you can choose from various different blog subjects that I covered, and The Way I See It is actually on there. Okay, let me see what else I can show you. It's all non-linear, so... Okay, with the continued cartooning, I decided to do some images, drawings, illustrations, whatever you want to call them, for the podcast that I was recording for the Way I See It blog. Yes, I decided to record some of the blog posts that I did as podcast episodes. And so I created these visuals. This one, it was 3 keys to align living. So that was the first one. And then I did sensory power. Yeah, all the 5 senses. Using, and that particular episode was about using your 5 senses to become more present, which was really a cool topic to cover. And then I also, oh, and the thing that I wanted to point out with those particular drawings that I created from my podcast episodes is that I had switched from pen and marker to pencil and pastel. So this kind of shows the trajectory of switching out the media that I was working with to something new and fresh, because I was getting kind of bored with working with pen and marker, and I wanted to be able to blend colors a little bit better. So I decided to switch to the softer side of pencil and pastel. Now this one is called Respect is the Golden Rule. That is one of the episodes that I did for my podcast. And then I have this one here, A Creative Lifeline. I think that's what it was called. Yeah, A Creative Lifeline. And I have music, prayer, art, and journaling. Yeah, she looks like she's holding onto a life raft so that she doesn't drown. And because my creativity is my lifeline. Yes, exactly. And then I have this one, Resistance or Flow, with a big question mark over my head. Yes. The resistance shows the circle with a line through it, and then the flow is with the heart. She's holding little signs in her hand. I really enjoyed coming up with the concept of how I wanted to present the topic that I was talking about. And I had so much fun coming up with how I wanted to visualize what I was discussing. Here's another one for Music Mind, with little musical notes above my head. I had a lot of fun with that one. Yeah. The Music Mind one was basically talking about how I think in music often, and how I pay attention to, if you want to call it, the soundtrack that's in my head. And I often write down the songs that I think of during my day, which you can see in my bullet journal I don't know if I have a video that I could post here where I talk about Music Mind and how I use, I have a bullet journal collection that I keep called Music Mind. So I had a lot of fun with that. And then we've got this one, Saying Goodbye. Yeah, that's pretty much like addressing how we go through life cycles, and that as we progress, we often leave things behind. And so you have to say goodbye to what was there. And then there's this one, Give Yourself a Voice. Yep. She's using a megaphone so that she can be heard clearly and loudly. All right, so that was in correlation with my blog, the way I see it. Then I switched to a new topic, beginnings. And I decided to create some art for my blog with little plants with flower pots. And she's holding one in her hand. I had a lot of fun with that one too. Yep. So that was that one. And then this one was the other one that I created that said to begin anew. Yeah. Very happy with that. So again, I'm still working with colored pencil and pastel. And then in between working with those media, I was also wanting to get back to the basics without color. Yes. Several years back, I started getting, I guess you could say the impetus to change things up a little bit for myself and get back to just pen sketching and pencil sketching, because I wanted to try some new approaches. Instead of doing contour drawing, which is basically like drawing the outline of things and then detailing what's on those objects, I wanted to create some images that with the approach of shape and shadow. Yeah. And so I decided to go with that for a little while, and I'm just kind of going back through here to make sure. Okay, here's one that I did that was a fashion sketch. This is all pen, although I did a lot of line work in this particular one because there was a lot of design on the garment she was wearing. But the point is that I was just drawing with straight pen. And I had a lot of fun with that. I really did. See, that's the point. The key word here is fun. If you're not having fun, then you need to do something to make it fun, right? I did a couple of I had a pencil and a pen drawing on here, just faces that I gravitated to in some fashion magazines that I was working with. Oh, and I forgot to show you this one. This was from a challenge on Instagram that I follow somebody on Instagram who likes to do, she posts a photo that you can work from, and then you just draw it in your own fashion, and then you post it with hashtags. And I did this one. And I thought it was really fun because I really liked drawing the fashion because I love fashion. So that was really fun for me to do. So that was a combination of pen, colored pencil, and I'm not sure if I put any pastel in there or not. I don't recall it because that was quite a while ago. All right, so let me see if there were any other. Okay, here we are. This is one of my favorites. I have a picture of this posted on my website, on my fashion page, Fun with Fashion. Absolutely adored drawing this one. I used shape and shadow with this approach. It's all pen. And I had a lot of fun with it. Yes. And then I have this one, which I have not finished, but I don't know if I'm going to. Sometimes you can start something and then you just don't finish. Yeah, that was more up close on the face. And again, shape and shadow. Yep. That's the first time I'm actually showing that one. So, okay, so that's that one. And then I started doing more experimenting with pencil. And instead of working with just a regular, like, regular pencil, like a, I'm forgetting in my mind. Number 2 pencil, there you go. Instead of just using like a regular pencil, I decided to buy myself 2 different size pencils, a 6B and an 8B. And I'm primarily using the 6B right now. And there are several examples of some pencil drawings that I have done in the past year, focusing on that. And so I thought I would show you the ones that I did. Now I printed off like a bunch of small pictures right off of my phone. And so I was practicing drawing myself, like little thumbnails. That was just practice for me, working with shape and shadow. And then I did one of a very close friend of mine. Yes. I like the way that one turned out. She did too. And then I did this one of my daughter Hannah and her husband David. Yeah. And then I did a drawing of an actor from a show that I had watched. I forget what it's called. He was one of the leading actors in the series. I'm trying to remember what it was called. He was a vampire. There was a vampire, a werewolf, and a ghost, and I forget the name of the show. And so I tried my hand at doing shape and shadow with his face. He really inspired me. I thought he did a really fantastic job in his role. And then I finished the sketchbook a couple of weeks ago, and I did a drawing of my daughter and my new grandson. Yeah. That's right. So that is a non-linear view or flip through of a sketchbook that I've been working in for 5 or 6 years, maybe even longer. I might go even further back than that. Oftentimes, when I think about how long ago something was, it's usually longer than I think. I don't know why that is, but maybe because I'm just getting older. And so things seem like they're closer rather than further away as far as recall goes. So I just had a blast showing that to you. I hope that it was an inspiration for your own creativity. And it's been really fun going through my sketchbook and sharing it with you. So I hope that this one big experiment has been fun for you to watch. And I hope that you tap into the experimental energy that might just produce some gold for you in whatever way that you are using your creative flow. So thank you so much for watching. I've had so much fun sharing this with you, and I wish you a delightful day. And remember that gentle is magic.